Okay, so let's say you and a bunch of people, like friends or like people in your social circles, are getting together for a game night. You all want to play like video games or something like that, and you want one simple way to do it, but everybody wants to be able to just pick up and go, and everybody wants to pick up and go as well. They just want to be able to like have fun and get into a game and get out, but they don't want to have to carry like big honking consoles with them, or they only want to have to carry one thing. What options do you have? So maybe the first thing you might think is, well, we'll just install something like, get something like Batocera, boot into it, and then be good to go. That's a really good option. It's got a lot of features to it. It's actually really cool. I've set it up on a flash drive myself, a 16 gig one. But let's say that you're going to bring your computer or your laptop along. It's powerful enough to run this stuff, and you want to provide the best experience possible. And the most probably streamlined one that will basically just work, in essence. So the other option I would go with is Retroarch. It's, again, Batocera is built on the same tech as Retroarch. It's just Retroarch is already on your system, and it opens up a lot of your favorite, what is it? It opens up a lot of your favorite games as well if you want to switch to a different game that maybe you have a multiplayer game, PC game that is able to split screen. That's an option. So another one that might be an option is, since Retroarch is in Steam, it's got a good number of the cores you might be interested in using and playing. So I would say Retroarch in Steam is another good one. I've used Retroarch in Steam because I was using it for the controller stuff. So Retroarch installed on your system from like a repo or something doesn't always work the best, like with some of your other controllers. So what I did is I ran Retroarch in Steam because it provided a way to interface with the Steam input directly. So basically it would just spin up real quick, somewhat, and I could go. And so the only thing you have to really think about is configuring your controllers here and there. So if I turn on the controller, and of course it supports remote play together, so it bumps up into all my configs. And if you've got multiple controllers, like I now have, I've showed off the controllers that I have. I've even added one more to the mix. It's one of the GameCube style wired controllers for the Switch. And I had used that for another such event where we were playing games, and I brought my laptop with me and played Smash. And we played Smash, and it worked out quite decently. So a lot of people wouldn't even think about it because, well, you're just you're just playing games together. They just want to have fun, and as long as you know what you're doing and messing around with it, Retroarch is probably your most powerful tool that you have in working with this. So I can spin up a game of Smash here, and it actually looks really cool when it starts up. And it's going to be kind of like weird on me because I am recording at the same time. So you can go through, mess with your stuff, go in. If it lets you. So yeah, again, it runs really well when I'm not recording with OBS at the same time. So yeah. I want that one. So, and just for good measure, so like, and if you've got like a large ROM library, then you've basically got a lot of the games that people are probably going to want to play as well. So, depending on the generations that you have, I would recommend going through, making sure that everything is configured just right, because it can be a little weird when you like sit down right into it and just get going. Because when we were doing Smash, make sure that controls were a little bit off. So when you're doing it, make sure that you have everything configured right. So you might be turning off like Nintendo's Nintendo orientation setting. So if I go and quit, I can pull over, if I can find it. It was in properties. So if I pull over the settings here, general controller settings, you've got the Nintendo button layouts feature here, and that orients it so that A is A and B is B. It basically flips it around. And when you're playing with Retroarch, that really makes it weird because it flips the buttons around. So you have to keep that in mind. So you probably want to keep it normal like that for your Nintendo button layouts for the Switch Pro controllers or anything like that. But you can enable a bunch of settings, and it's Steam input. And actually, let's go back in and we'll add one more controller to the mix, just so that I can show you what it looks like. So we've plugged in a Switch Pro controller. And so you can see that a bunch of controllers have opened up, basically. So if we go into configuration, we want that one. So right now I don't have the Nintendo orientation turned on. So it's using standard orientation, so B acts like A and so on. But you can see like the button layouts down there. If we go into, where was it? Come on. Input, there we go. So port 1 controllers. So we've got the Nintendo Switch Pro controller selected as it. So we've got a number of Steam virtual game pads if we... Okay. Let's go to port 2, actually. So we've got 2 virtual game pads here. So that one, I believe, I'm not quite sure which one that is. And then well, that one is probably our Steam controller. Yeah. So if we leave that way, and then we go into, let's make sure that all of our stuff is turned off. Okay. So analog to digital, analog stick to D-pad basically runs like that. So if we go and run, I don't have a camera on my desk, obviously. So there's a Steam controller moving the joystick, and there's the Switch Pro controller. So and of course, this has all kinds of cool settings for you. So if so now we can go in. Let me select. So you can see that obviously my Steam controller player is not working out too well, but so if I switch controllers from the Switch Pro controller, I can go in and we've actually got it pretty separated now. So you just have to kind of keep track of what controllers where. And if you use the Steam virtual controller straight up across the board, you can, I guess, keep track of it. It just depends on the order that you put the controllers in. But yeah, that's basically how you would set up your controllers to run in Retroarch and using Steam. And if you found this helpful, if you're one of those people that you weren't quite sure how am I gonna be the life of the game party, this is one way you can do it. You've got a lot of options then that just opens up by doing it that way. And you can have per game configuration so that it does make sense. So if you're playing like one of those old Nintendo 64 FPS games, you can actually set it up so that the joysticks work like they feel like they should in the shooters that we're used to. So as long as you go through the configuration, do the things that you need to, you can have a pretty good experience and even have people that have never played those games having a pretty good experience because they're used to what they're running. And yeah, again, leave the like, whatever have you on it, and I will see you guys later.